Today on the Hartley Show, it's a Marvel Madness Extravaganza. Hey, So first up, we're going to talk about Avengers, the new Jonathan Hickman take on it. This book has been absolutely fantastic, smart as hell, and this does tie into the new Avengers comic as well, story-wise. Hickman is known for setting up his plots years ahead of time. So he's this guy, everything he's doing is really systematic. And as I've shown in previous episodes, one of the coolest things about Hickman is how he has got this great style of previously in the Avengers, and then he has this great opening page with the credits stylistically. He has a very definitive style that always sort of maintains. Star Branded is the name of this issue, the latest one, and the basic concept behind this is there's something called the White Event. If any of you are old fans from the new universe that Marvel created back in the 80s, the White Event was this big white event that created a whole world of superheroes. Now, it's called Star Branded because there is this new Starbrand character, this poor kid who inadvertently kills a whole bunch of people when the Starbrand power is activated within him. And I won't spoil it really too much other than the show. Clearly, he's upset about all the dead people. But yes, he has a big, awesome fight with the Avengers. And it is big, and it is awesome. And why don't I just leave it at that point for now without ruining it too much past the point of the Hulk obviously charges him. This book has just been absolutely fantastic. It's one of my 3 favorite Marvel books, along with Thor and Hawkeye right now. Fantastic books. Highly, highly, highly recommended. And of course, with all the Marvel $3.99 books, you of course get your free digital copy, which you have to somewhat mutilate the book to activate. And again, awesome AR stuff. Almost all Marvel books at this point are doing AR features. Next up, we got Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the .1 issue that gives you basically the origin of Star-Lord, which you've never really seen in detail before. I really enjoy this issue. Strangely, it's a $3.99 book that does not have any AR features in it. I found that kind of weird, and but it was great. It's Steve McNiven, Brian Michael Bendis, and it's great stuff. 30 years ago, this is the origin of Star-Lord and how his dad met his mom and banged and all that stuff. Really, really good stuff. And I mean, this is McKibben. He's just a genius artist. The guy who brought us Civil War. I super, super recommend this. And like I say, we've never really seen a full exploration of Star-Lord's origin, so this is long overdue. Little known fact, this Watchmen toaster is the only piece of Watchmen merchandise that Alan Moore supports, because he loves toast. Next up, we've got Age of Ultron. This is the new big Marvel crossover, and it's quite an interesting storyline because this book starts off, you could actually tell from the cover if you are reading modern Marvel comics that none of the characters are in their current outfits, except for Iron Man's color scheme, sort of. Obviously, it's his past his last armor, but the color scheme makes it look a little bit more like his current armor. But the interesting thing about this, as I'm pointing out, is that this doesn't take place in the current Marvel Universe. It seems to take place in an alternate Marvel Universe that just may have happened. We don't know what's going on, but, of course, it's drawn by the ever-awesome Brian Hitch. But what we're seeing is a Marvel Universe that's been completely fucked over by Ultron. Again, we don't know how this happened. There you get the Statue of Liberty all fucked up. And, I mean, this is your classic Brian Hitch, brilliant, brilliant art. Very movie-esque and very, very moody. And, I mean, this first issue was fantastic, as was the second issue. And one of the neat things that Brian Hitch does is he has this neat sort of style where he does this sort of makes the panels look blurry and like everything's shaking. He's got this great style, Brian Hitch, if anybody knows his stuff. Most everybody does now, from Ultimates and whatnot. Just great, great stuff. And hey, a highly recommended first issue, and lots of AR features in this. And the book itself was a mere $3.99. In this case, it is mere because it is, you know, you're getting a nicer cover stock out of it, and of course the usual free digital copy and the AR stuff. Next up, we've got Extermination Part 1. Now, as you can see from the cover, this is the storyline that follows Nightcrawler, the Nightcrawler from Age of Apocalypse, because currently in the Marvel Universe, Nightcrawler is dead. Now, this version of Nightcrawler is nothing like the Nightcrawler we're used to. This is a Kurt Wagner who's a fucking badass. He carries swords, he cuts people up, and he's a bit of a prick. But mostly just because he misses his home world, his home dimension, and his wife, who I believe is dead. Really, what happens in this issue, what happens to start this series off, is Nightcrawler makes a deal with the Dark Beast, and he just wants to go back to his home dimension. This continues on from storylines that were introduced in Extreme X-Men, I believe, and another X book, Age of Apocalypse, Age of X, I believe it's called. Those books are both canceled now, and their storyline follows into this. I really enjoyed the art, and I think this was off to a promising start. As well, I should add that I think this book itself was probably better than the two books that it came from, for that matter. But yeah, fun stuff. And at the end of this, it's now going to continue off into Astonishing X-Men number 16. We got these great covers right now from Ed McGuinness. Just fantastic stuff. A little known fact, Michael Cera posed for this Ripley action figure. We got Nova number 2 here. No, the first issue I found kind of predictable and not terribly exciting, somewhat boring even. But issue 2 really did it for me. Now, when I say issue 2 really did it for me, what I need to preface is that when I saw the preview pages, which were these, with Rocket Raccoon and Gamora who meet up with Sam Alexander in his hospital bed, this preview page, this page pissed me off infinitely. Sam calls him a talking raccoon, his name is Rocket Raccoon, and he fucking flips out and nearly kills the kid. Nobody calls me that, you hairless. It's his fucking name. So I guess they've retconned now that nobody calls Rocket Raccoon, and when he hears raccoon, he will go into a blind, murderous rage. Now, it's vaguely amusing, but past this point of the book, it gets really good. And I'm really seeing the charm now behind this concept, the new Nova. This is the issue where he puts on the helmet, and he starts to kind of accept the idea that he is the new Nova. And that was really fun. I really, really enjoyed this issue, at least infinitely more than the first issue. Great art, and it looks to me like maybe Jeff Loeb is back on track, because I think he's been missing the ball, unfortunately, ever since the death of his son. I don't mean to say that like a jerk, but the first thing he did after the death of his son was the worst Marvel series probably ever, Ultimatum, that destroyed the Ultimate Universe. When I say destroyed, I mean really it just turned it into a giant, stupid fucking shitstorm. So, Nova, fun. Next up, we got New Avengers, which, as I was saying at the beginning of all this, ties in eventually to Avengers by Jonathan Hickman again. The art in this book is by Steve Epting, and as I was saying, you got this classic style that he has previously in New Avengers, with an opening page, the cast, the creative team, the title. I love his classic style that Hickman's developed here. Of course, the New Avengers follows the Marvel's Illuminati team, and as you can see from the basic recap here, they've just basically booted Captain America out of the group in a very identity crisis manner, where they've wiped out his memory of anything that's happened here. And these are the guys making the hard decisions in the Marvel Universe. They're dealing with this strange, multi-dimensional sort of force of entropy. And as you can see from the cover, it's something to do with Galactus. A great, smart book, and I highly, highly recommend it. Hey guys, it's time for some tweets. First up, we've got Paulie D-Bag, who asks, "Hey Hartley, do you think the world could really handle superheroes?" It's an interesting question. I'd say on one hand, absolutely yes, because with superheroes comes supervillains and all sorts of alien armada threats and things like that, so they would have something to do. But if the question is truly, could the world handle superheroes and superheroes alone, well, most of the exploration of this would lead me to believe no. You'd end up with this weird authority-style kind of concept where the superheroes would take over humanity and mess things up. So a little bit of yes, a little bit of no. I'm leaning towards yes because I'm sort of idealistic that way. Hiya. Next up, we've got Dalton D, who asks, "Was wondering how much prep you and your crew put into each episode. Looks like a pretty slack environment you got going there. You hit the nail on the head, buddy. Nothing. We do this fresh because we're a bunch of schmoes. Or at least I am anyways. Sorry, guys." Next up, we got Rose Petal, who asks, "Do you or any of the crew have any unusual pre-show rituals that you can share with us?" Interestingly, this sort of leads back into the last question. We don't prepare anything or do anything, no. Oh, well, there is a little bit of circle jerking. Can I say that out loud? Can I say that out loud?
I like a good poop.
Good poop, good poop, good poop. So there you have it. tweet. And of course, by all means, please contact us at the address here. Tweet us or email us. It'll be here somewhere. I'm not just pointing at my genitals. So there you have it. Marvel Now stuff. As always, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and a big thanks to Taz for letting us film here as always. Ciao!